Hey guys, welcome to HashPlay. Myself Siddharth Hariprasad and this is Tech News 4.0. After Tech News 3.0 and 3.1, there were two major events, one from big company and another one from growing company, the Apple special event and the OnePlus 6T launch. So today we're going to be talking mainly about these two events and the devices launch. Also again, I'd like to apologize for the delay and I promise I will not do this again and I'll upload more often and faster from now on. So let's get started. Apple launched the latest Macs and iPad Pros in the October hardware event on October 30th, and we finally have the much awaited update to the Mackbook Air. The new Air has a Retina display, Touch ID, the new keyboard with butterfly keys, and the same spacious trackpad. Overall, it is a slimmer MacBook Pro, which is great as it means thinner bezels and more screen. But it doesn't have the touch bar, and actually that's not a deal breaker for most, I think personally, because touch bar was one of the least used features of MacBook Pro. Talking of the missing things, the Air, like the new MacBooks, is missing a lot of ports as it only has two USB Type-C, so dongle life it is. Though thankfully it does still have a 3.5mm headphone jack, making the audiophiles rejoice. Talking of performance, it has decent specs as it has the latest 8th generation Core i5 processor from Intel paired with up to 16 GB of RAM, and as it is a MacBook Air and they are known for their battery life, Apple has promised 12 to 13 hours of battery life for the new Air. But the biggest disappointment is the price as usual. Why Apple? Why? The new Air is priced at a whopping $1,200. That will translate to upwards of 1 lakh rupees. And we only get the 8GB RAM, 128GB storage and 256GB storage versions here in India. Anyways, moving on to the next device, the iPad Pro, which now has a liquid retina display at 11-inch and 12.9-inch and 120Hz refresh rate. Also comes with the new Face ID and gestures instead of the Touch ID and the home button before, and that allows for, yes, you guessed it right, thinner bezels. Also this time Apple has gone for a more angular design as for the edges, and this is great from the design perspective. It looks stunning. The biggest change of all to the iPad and Apple as a whole is the adoption of a USB Type-C instead of the Lightning port. Yes, Apple moved to Type-C finally, and this does give us a slight hope that the next generation iPhone, whatever they're gonna call it, will probably have Type-C connector instead of Lightning. The Type-C in the iPad allows for all the usual functionalities, including the 5K output. Talking of output, the iPad has graphics levels at par with Xbox One S, which is some great graphics, because I don't know if you have seen or used an Xbox One S, but it has some great graphics. For such a portable device, it is exponential. This is all thanks to the A12X Bionic chipset with 8 cores and 7-core GPU. There is also a new quad speaker and gigabit LTE connections, 1 TB storage, and also a new pencil that looks less offensive while charging, as it no longer have to be plugged in the bottom at the Lightning connector, and instead can be charged wirelessly when placed on top of the iPad. That's when it's in the horizontal orientation, whereas portrait it's on the side, and it sticks there magnetically. It also supports tapping on the flat edge of the pencil for changing the tools and other functions as supported by different apps. And it even has a tap to wake it when you tap the pencil on the screen to wake it up. But all this comes at a cost, because the Apple Pencil is a whopping $130, which is approximately 10,000 rupees. Anyways, the iPad Pro will cost $800, that is around 70,000 rupees, and goes up to 1,71,000 rupees for the bigger one with the max specs. By the way, just like the iPhone, the iPad Pro doesn't have a headphone jack, and Apple doesn't include dongles in the box, And if you have a Lightning to 3.5mm dongle, you can't use that either, as you will need a Type-C to 3.5mm dongle, likes of the ones seen inside the Pixel 3 XL box. Moving on, we have the much awaited Mac Mini Refresh, which is the same size with space grey color but is a mighty beast inside, as it offers quad-core i3 or i5 and even the 6-core i7 processor with up to 64GB of RAM, 2TB SSD for storage and 10GB Ethernet option, and a lot of ports. That is 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports, that is the best of the Type-C connectors, an HDMI port, 2 USB-A, that is 3.0, and it's a normal USB port, and also audio jack and an Ethernet port, which lets us forget the fact that it doesn't have dedicated GPU. But as there are plenty of Thunderbolt ports, we can always connect an external GPU and even connect more than one Mac Mini to work as one powerful system. Coming to the pricing, the Mac Mini starts at $800, that's approximately 70,000 rupees, same as that of an iPad Pro, for the quad-core i3 version with 8GB of RAM and 128GB SSD. Frankly speaking though, 128GB is totally not enough for a desktop. Nope, not to today's standards. And we only get the i3, i5 versions with 128 or 256GB storage here in India. What do you think about Apple not giving us Indians all the variants of their devices? Let me know your opinions in the comments. Let's move on. Talking of moving, the OnePlus event scheduled on 30th of October at New York had to be moved a day earlier due to Apple scheduling its hardware event, the one where the iPad Pro, the Mac Mini and the Mackbook Air was launched on the same day at New York. Though a setback for OnePlus, it was kind of a good deal for us, as we got to see the OnePlus 6T a day earlier. Talking about the 6T, as usual with the T devices, it has a major design revamp with the water droplet notch, which is by far the cutest and the most beautiful notches that even the most hardcore notch haters would admit it is not a problem to have. Along with the underglass fingerprint sensor and the 3700 mAh battery at nearly 3000 rupees increase from the OnePlus 6 will give us the OnePlus 6T at 38,000 rupees for the base model, which now has a 6GB RAM and 128GB storage instead of 64GB in the OnePlus 6, while the 8GB 128GB storage version will cost 42,000 rupees, and if you want to go all out, it will cost 46,000 rupees for the 8GB RAM 256GB storage version at Amazon and OnePlus stores online and offline. And on the lower note, we have a missing 3.5mm jack to make place for larger battery and the fingerprint sensor. Also, looking at the price, we can clearly see why many Indian OnePlus fans have been upset, as OnePlus started out as a flagship killer with great specs at low price and 45,000 in low price. But one thing to note, and in defense of OnePlus, is that when compared to similarly spec'd phones from Samsung or Apple, we clearly see that the OnePlus is still a flagship killer in terms of performance and price, as it costs only half the price of the other flagships from these companies without any compromise. Also, we do see similarly spec'd phones like the Poco at half the price of OnePlus, but it does come with its own flaws. OnePlus could have at least kept the headphone jack. Rest in peace, jack. What do you think about the disappearing 3.5mm jacks from smartphones today? Do you want the 3.5mm jack back, or are you okay with the wireless or the Type-C alternatives? Do let me know in the poll here. This is the end of today's tech news. So if you dislike the video, you know what to do, but if you liked it, do hit the thumbs up button to let me know, and don't forget to subscribe and share if you haven't already, and also turn on the notifications by hitting the bell icon so that you don't miss this great content. Until next time, peace.